Director Porch, I met with NOAA some time ago, maybe 2 years ago, and expressed my concern about the lack of focus upon ocean conditions. And I note you're the director for the Southeast Fisheries Science Center, so that's in Florida, but I'm going to be talking about Oregon, Washington, and the West Coast. But I was concerned when I asked about the number of studies, particularly involving such things as, kelp, by NOAA. Are you aware of something more than mere observation going on in NOAA when it comes to the value of kelp and salmon, for example? Is there a study ongoing by NOAA now on that issue?
I'm not certain on the specifics of that, but I would be happy to get back with you on that.
I would very much appreciate that. And in fact, while you're at it, I would like to see a list of the studies that NOAA NIMS are supporting right now when it comes to the condition of our oceans. Because what I see is a focus on rivers with almost a blind eye toward the ocean, which seems extremely odd. So if you'll get me a list of the types of studies that are ongoing, particularly on the West Coast, I don't need the rest of the world, but the West Coast is terrifically important to me. And while we're talking about kelp, I'm going to go to Ms. Self. You must be working with Oregon State University on their efforts in that space. Are you aware of any focus upon the importance of kelp to salmon?
Thank you for the question. I am, Greater Farallones Association is not working with Oregon State, but I know that the Oregon Kelp Alliance is. And I believe that they are working with that agency carefully on a study that will be coming out soon valuing the fisheries that are dependent on kelp in Oregon. We're working more closely with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. And in fact, to your prior question, all of our projects are actually joint projects with NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries. And so all of our work on kelp, much of it funded through NOAA, some funded from other sources, is done on behalf and in partnership with NOAA. So I just wanted to speak to that engagement on the West Coast on ecosystems.
So, and thank you for that. I am interested, of course, in the question, ignore Oregon State for a moment. And just if you can tell me, has there been a focus on the value of kelp to salmon in any of your work, or are you aware of any that NOAA is actually doing?
You know, I am not certain. I do know that kelp provides a really important shelter and place for herring spawn. And I'm not at all familiar with the life cycle of salmon and how it relates to kelp, but I would be really happy to look into that and provide references.
So and I hate to say I wasn't paying total attention to all of your important testimony, but I did look up the papers while I was sitting up here earlier, and there is indeed a couple of papers indicating the importance of kelp to salmon. So that has been studied by at least some people. I'm just wondering why our most important agency when it comes to these kinds of issues, NOAA, is not doing it, because they should be. It should be. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they are doing, so I'm not blaming them for no good reason. I want to shift to Dr. Bamey for a moment and go to the mapping. And there's much discussion about the value of mapping, but we never seem to quite get to what that value actually is. And I know that ranking member suggested that finding the Edmund Fitzgerald would be a valuable thing, but there must be more to it than that. So what is it? And lake currents, depths of water, where's the value come from?
So part of the value here is understanding how the depths of the lake bed are shifting so that we have better models for wave action to predict shore impacts during severe storms. And this would enable us to better protect coastal communities. It would allow public and private sector infrastructure to be better protected from the flood risks that come from these high impact storms in the region. The Great Lakes is experiencing these more and more often. And so this is the type of information that as we said, 13% in mapping, we are quite a bit far behind. And so this foundational data set would help us better protect our coastal communities from flood risk.
Right, and I'm out of time, but it's extremely interesting to me. So if you could provide a very, very narrowly constructed list of the benefits, I would very much appreciate that.
We would happy to follow up.
Thank you.